Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy came home.
And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Jerry Springer.
And happy holiday. Well, Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You want to say that? You want to say Happy Hanukkah?
Mm-hmm.
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been trying to get you to say it properly.
Yeah. I'm afraid
you
to
don't say it like a Jewish person.
No. Well, I'm afraid
it's not Hanukkah with an H, it's
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. You have a glass of milk before you say it.
It's a good sound.
Yeah, but you can't have the milk with the meat because that not be kosher.
Not kosher.
How did we get on that? Anyway, happy holidays.
Wow, that spiraled
I'm a little
quickly.
off my game because I'm nervous because we've been getting these these phone calls late at night from Melania Trump.
We got another one?
Didn't we already get in trouble?
We got another one.
Well, before, because I know what you're going to do. You're going to ask David to play it, and I want to point out something. And Megan, you're always like, "Oh yeah, play it."
I am not.
I think you are because listen, we could be in legal jeopardy.
Kellyanne, I understand this.
And
No.
what has Melania said on several?
Do not put this on air.
Do not put it on the air.
Specifically has said,
And
do not.
There's one thing you can say about Trump, he never sues.
That's true. We're sitting pretty here.
And I got
Donald, we're only kidding.
I get emails from corporate 5 times a day, but this week I got a call from corporate where they said, "Do you?" And they brought in a lawyer to put me on a speakerphone, and they brought in an attorney from corporate, and they're like, "Do you understand when someone says you may not use it in a broadcast? That's exactly
what
when
that
you
means.
can't use it."
Yeah.
And so,
And yet.
and yet,
Continues to be an issue, doesn't
it
it?
seems to me it gets played. Now, I don't know. Apparently, she called in something because I never hear
She's a
these.
handler, man.
The
This is
answering
not
machine,
good.
the podcast office is at it's a double office where he has his
Right.
office, so I never hear these. So you do have one?
Yeah, she left another late night phone call.
I tell you what, let's play it.
Why are these always late night?
I think she's hiding. It's a call. It's a cry for help.
Well, he's not even at home with her.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know where. We don't know.
No, she's in. Oh no, that's right. They both are still in New York. Yeah.
Tell you what, play it, and if she says don't play it, please stop it at that
stop
point.
it.
Yeah. At that point. And we all
But not
have to
until
promise
then.
to wipe it from our memory. It's like in a court of law.
See, they brought
It
that
was
up. Hold a
stricken
second,
from the
David.
record.
They brought that up in this phone call with corporate. They said they heard you say the solution is forget you heard it, or somehow you were
That's
saying
what a
don't
judge always
hear it.
tells a jury.
Right.
If somebody says something that
The attorney
from the
from
record.
corporate said it does not work that way. If she says you can't play it, you cannot play it. That's the very
I
time.
personally did not play it.
David, why don't you play that?
So I'm the one
David,
that's
if
getting
you
in
could-
trouble.
Just leave the lawyers your home address.
Okay.
All right, let's see what Melania
Let's see
Trump-
what she said.
Let's
It
see
may
what
be
she
very
says.
nice.
It might be.
Yes.
Melania Trump.
Hello, Jerry. This is Melania Trump. I'm going to do something for you here, but you must understand you have my permission to play on air.
Now hold on.
There
See,
we go.
she just said you do not.
She did, yep.
You do not have my
She
permission.
did not
to play
say
it.
do not. She said you know have my position.
Yes, you know have my permission.
You know
have my
well,
permission.
That is incorrect
See,
English.
you're making fun of her syntax. That's not
No, she said you know have my permission. So she could mean I don't know.
I
if
think we
she's-
could get sued for that. Right there.
Let's hear the rest of
No,
it.
she may be. It may be the no with KNOW. Like I know she has.
It's true. We don't see it. that
Wow,
way.
you are a lawyer.
You know. Yeah.
All right.
When is. Oh, that's the wrong president.
I think we cannot play it. Should we? Should we not play it?
No, we're
Oh.
playing it. We've got to play it.
Get some spine.
Let's ask the audience. Do we play it or not play it?
Do you want to?
I guess we're going to play
It's
it.
from our first lady to be. We would want to hear from her. That's only respectful.
All right, let's play it, and let's just hope that corporate can unhear this. Go ahead and play it.
Okay.
I repeat, you have no permission to play this on your podcast. However, I have very specific notes for you for singing the song that you do at the end of your podcast. This is how it should sound. Sometimes I live in country. Sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take great notion to jump into river and drown. Everybody, Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene, good night, Irene. I see you in my
See you
dreams.
in my dreams.
You see, Jerry, this is how it goes. Ciao, Bella. We talk soon. Mwah.
You got kisses.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
So
She
yeah,
listens, she
now,
likes
why
the
would
song.
she be? Why would she not want that broadcast?
I don't know. You know,
With a
people
voice
have.
like that. How
Yeah,
can you-
he's actually very
Yeah.
good.
Well, you know, if Donald is doing The Apprentice, she could be doing The Voice. That's
Wow.
on NBC too.
She could.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's it. They're taking over the whole network.
Yeah, it makes.
That's his plan. Here we figured it all out.
Oh no, I work for NBC.
Ruh-roh.
Oh my gosh, that's true.
Yeah.
I thought The Voice was ABC.
no. Is The Voice? No,
Yeah.
The Voice.
I think The Voice is ABC.
Yeah, but no, The Apprentice is clearly NBC.
Yeah.
And I'm making fun of Donald. They could fire me.
Yeah.
See? You see?
It just
And then
but it
my
had to get back
only
to him
income would be
personally.
this podcast.
This is what brought you down.
Yeah, it's funny.
I support Donald Trump for the presidency of the United States.
Never thought I'd hear that.
It's
Somebody just walked in and looked at you like, "Where? I'm at the wrong podcast."
I'm at the wrong place.
and it's funny you mention that about income because it makes me think of my Uncle Fred. And my uncle Fred
I can't.
told me the other
What
day
did he
that
tell you,
Megan,
Gene?
he forgot to get a gift for his little daughter. He's got like a, I don't know, 4-year-old daughter.
How could he have a 4-year-old daughter?
Your Uncle Frank
It was one
You
of those
are
deals.
78 something.
set it up
Your
properly.
uncle must be 97.
Yeah, gotta
And
go.
now all
Now
of
I
a
gotta
sudden he's got a
do.
4-year-old
Gotta
daughter.
do the backstory.
That
now.
spiraled.
My uncle was my dad's brother's son. My dad's brother was probably 2 when I was born, and then he had a child late in life. And anyway, that's how it all
so
happened.
deep.
But, so my uncle forgot a gift for his daughter, and he had to go to the store, kind of on the run. He goes in, and he's in the toy store, and he sees Barbie dolls. You know what those are?
Yeah. Yes.
And
I'm
he says-
aware of what a Barbie is.
And he says,
I do too, shouldn't I?
goes over to the clerk and he says, I want to get one of those Barbie dolls. And she says, which one do you want? We've got Barbie Goes Shopping, 1995. Barbie Goes Dancing, same price. Barbie Goes to School, same price. Barbie Goes to the Beach. And the other one, Barbie Gets Divorced, is $265. And he said, $265? Why is it $265? And she says, well, because it comes with Ken's house, Ken's car, Ken's boat, his golf clubs, and half his money. So anyway, it just made me think
Nope.
of that.
Nope.
No,
Nope.
it says here on the rundown you're supposed to tell a joke.
Anyway,
Let us know when that happens, Gene,
that's
please.
my Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred.
Well, you can understand it's Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But, you know,
Honestly, when I was born, I was so ugly the doctor slapped my mother.
is that right?
No, I was so ugly that the doctor came into the waiting room and said to my dad, we tried everything, but he pulled through anyway.
Aw, Jerry.
No,
No, Mom took me to the amusement park.
really.
Yeah, to Coney Island in New York one day, and I got lost. I was a little kid, and and I start crying, and I run up to a police officer, and I said, I can't find my mom. And he takes one look at me, and he says, don't worry, there are only so many places she can hide.
I like that one.
I lived
What you got, Gene?
I lived in a rough neighborhood called Anderson Township in
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's really a rough
you're
neighborhood. I asked the cop one
traveling
day,
through, yeah.
how do you get to Beachmont Avenue? He said, I don't know, no one's ever made it. But hey, anyway, Jerry,
Oh my God.
Jerry, look at that right there.
This is
Yeah.
over the air though.
You said this is weird because this week, and I'm getting these calls, and now today I got a FedEx.
Really?
It's a questionnaire from the Trump transition team on you.
Oh, that's right. You're applying.
Applying for a job, and they want me to answer the questionnaire.
A reference, you mean?
A reference.
Well, help a
And
brother out. I mean, give them...
Well, I hope you...
Or be honest, actually.
What does it say? So is this like an official, like it's like...
Yeah.
Okay, like it's
so
on letterhead.
You're really
it's
applying
not...
for a job with Trump.
I am.
Why?
I'd like to have a dignified retirement. I'd like to up my income and get more Social Security.
What job are you applying for?
They call it the rope line director. I am the person who makes sure that where at his rallies, the rope lines are properly put up and taken down. So I make
So
sure
you
they're
put up the rope.
and I take them down.
That is your job.
That is
Hopefully.
that position.
That's what he's
You're
hoping
not
to
qualified. I mean, God love you, but
What does
what
it
are the
say?
questions?
Yeah, what does it
Look at
say?
the questions. I got them right here. Does he arrive to work on time?
No. No, he doesn't.
And when he does, we're both disappointed.
Also, they're
We were
not even
hoping
supposed to
you'd
be
call
asking
and
this
say,
kind of stuff.
Yeah, does he work on time? Does he meet personal hygiene standards?
How about that one?
Yeah, because every time I see you, I say, "Hi, Gene."
There you go. That's just silly.
It goes over better than the hearing aid. What's the next job? Okay, what's the next question? Is he able to place items in a straight line?
Let's see, can you? Gene?
No, just that white powder. Why would I say that?
I don't know.
Because that's not me at
You're
all.
the
That's
quipster.
really, I'm good.
What happened tonight?
I know. Have you ever noticed any behaviors that suggest he might be a substance abuser? Yeah. He's constantly putting things in a straight line. Why are you laughing? You're not supposed to know. Do you like him? What?
Do you like him?
Yeah.
Megan, you're an HR manager. Do these questions sound like the professional ones?
No, you're never supposed anymore. You never ever give personal references from a prior employer. You're not supposed to do that. You're just supposed to say the dates that they worked for you. It's pretty illegal to do that now.
Well, this is
Because if you didn't like him,
seriously?
you could affect him getting a job with the Trump transition team. And how awful would that be?
I tell you what, I will not.
But no, that's
sue.
the truth.
You give some good answers. Seriously.
Okay.
Give
I
some
will
good
give the
answers,
best
and I will.
answers I can.
And I think on the do
But
you
frankly,
like
if
him,
I admit that I like you, then they're not going to hire you.
That's also very true. Yep.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
'Cause
But
why
I think
would
I think
someone
they
I
just
like-
want to be around people probably that are okay to be around. That you kind of
Well,
enjoy their company.
is
and stuff.
it annoying? Is that a category?
Yeah,
You're kind of annoying.
kind of. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good friend, but
He's really kind of a pain in the butt, really.
Yeah.
Oh,
On your nerves,
sure
doesn't he?
does.
Well,
Absolutely.
good luck in your job search.
Yeah,
Trader.
I can't imagine
that's
that I'm going to
But
get.
you had to
lucked up
abandon
on
Guinness
this,
Book
but-
World
Dignified
Records for
and-
this.
What kind of dignified retirement? How much do you think you're going to make as putting up the rope at the rope line?
I would think that that would pay about 30, 40 grand a year is what I would predict. They haven't told me, but because you always wait. When you do, Megan, when you do interviews, they ask the questions, and then you wait, and then you get the question at
It
the
is
end.
so good you're not, oh my God, you need
Yeah.
not to be in the job
and that's what
force.
you ask at the end. You say
Well, he's
how
not
much.
going to last. I'll tell you why he's not going to last. You know, and this is true. Trump has his own security guys now.
Yeah,
I mean,
I read that.
Yeah. Frankly, I think that, on a serious note, I think that's scary. I mean, that's that strikes me of dictators who walk around with their own private police. And they push people out of the way. They're pretty rough. They're the ones that literally punch some of the protesters at his rallies.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw in the news last night, as people are walking into the Trump Towers, there were some protesters, and they came to the microphone where the press was standing. Because the press was asking them, what are you protesting? And I think it had something to do with the environment or something like that. So they were going to interview. And this bully of a guy comes, grabs the mic, throws it down, and pushes the lady out of the way.
I don't even know why he's doing that, by the way. I mean, that's unprecedented. Of course, I
it's
don't
all
know all of
unprecedented.
history.
Yeah.
But the Secret Service do a fantastic job. Why would you need to bring in your own people?
Well, because, right.
Except
secondly,
to
they're gonna
block
be
out
conflict.
protests and things.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's political.
Oh, it's totally.
So that they can stop things that are more political in nature that the Secret Service might be uncomfortable stopping, like protests.
Yeah, I think someone should take a look at that, because that could really start being First Amendment violations. You can't have the security guards pushing the press away. The press is us.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you know what? That may lead to something I wanted to ask
I don't
you.
mean the press is us because of what we do here. The press is we, the people of
Right.
the United States of America. That to ask the questions for us. So go ahead.
Well, it makes it's a segue to asking something that's on a more serious note, and that is, what's your greatest fear of with Trump now? And he got through the Electoral College. I didn't doubt that he would. He's going to be president. What's your greatest fear about him?
Is simply that he doesn't take the job seriously. And that is mainly an issue with national security. And by his own admission, you know, he doesn't read books, he doesn't read newspapers, he doesn't have a particular philosophy or ideology. He's just not that interested. But most scary, particularly with all the headlines that are going on in the world today, he doesn't want all those briefings, the national security briefings that a president gets every morning. It is the very first thing every president does. The 9 o'clock meeting is the national security advisor and some other people involved in that work. They come and sit in the Oval Office. I'm going to sneak. No, and sit in the Oval Office, and he gets the national security briefing about what's going on in the world, what are the trouble spots right now, anything happen overnight that you need to be aware of, any decisions we have to make. And he says, no, I know what all that stuff's about, and I'm a smart guy. If there's a crisis, I'll figure something out. Whoa. Now, this is the point I'd like to make. No one ever is prepared for their first year as president. Hillary Clinton probably was the most prepared person to come that would be coming into the office, and even she would have surprises if she had taken office. But never have we had a president, first termer, on the first year be prepared, because there's, even emotionally, psychologically, there is nothing that compares with it. I mean, really, imagine just for a second, you go in that first morning, and really, whether or not the planet survives that day is in your hands. I mean, that's not like, I mean, you got to be scared. I don't care how cocky or confident you are, that's got to be scary. And in that first year, certainly in our lifetime, there have been some real big examples of the mistakes that a first-year president makes from not being prepared. The first one that comes to mind from my age, 73, is John Kennedy. Comes into office. It's 1961 when he takes office. We are in the middle of the Cold War. The Soviet Union has been expanding ever since it violated Yalta and started to turn the countries of Eastern Europe into communism. It pushes North Korea to invade South Korea, and we have the Korean War. It gets involved in Indochina, which is we called Vietnam then, and to get the expansion on the Pacific Rim. And so the whole history, as we said in another podcast, the whole history of Russia, well before communism, was they live and die on the issue of expanding, of finding access to warm water ports. That's Russia. The United States, from early in its history with President Monroe, the fifth president, has the Monroe Doctrine. Our forefathers figured out pretty early that the one way America could stay relatively safe was that we would not permit any other European country to establish power in the Western Hemisphere. It was a big power decision. And now that you had the Soviet Union really starting to expand, Kennedy takes office. And this is the situation as he takes office. In January 1st of 1959, Castro, there's a revolution led by him. Batista is thrown out, and communism is now coming to be in Cuba. We can't have Soviet communism 90 miles from our shore. It violates the Monroe Doctrine. In this age of missiles, it's too close. America got scared. So Eisenhower, still president in 1959, he okays, and in 1960, okays a plan which would ultimately be called the Bay of Pigs, whereby we would get some Cuban expatriates that were now living in Florida, we would train them, and then they would invade Cuba to toss out Castro. That was the plan. The plan was approved by Eisenhower. Kennedy now becomes president. He doesn't know anything about this because while he was a candidate, he wasn't briefed on any of this. Now he's in office, a brand new rookie. The generals all come and tell him, this is the plan. We just need you to give the go-ahead. And all the generals are there with the recommendation of Eisenhower, the five-star general, hero of World War II. And Kennedy was a lieutenant in the World War II. So he's thinking, with all these generals and Eisenhower thinking this is a good plan, let's have the Bay of Pigs. And of course, as we know, the Bay of Pigs was an absolute disaster. And the guys that went over there were all captured, and it took $53 million of aid to Cuba to bring them back eventually. But the Bay of Pigs was an absolute disaster. And it was the great failure of Kennedy's first year. He learned from that because the next year, 1962, is when we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. What he learned was that he's got to be really knowledgeable on these issues and not just take what somebody says, that's, you know, all these generals, and just say, okay, I'll do whatever you say. Because when Soviet missiles were discovered in Cuba by satellite, we all of a sudden, for 13 days, had the Cuban Missile Crisis, where the decision for the United States was, do we invade Cuba and possibly start World War III, or do we set up a blockade to stop Soviet missiles from being shipped over? Initially, the Security Council that met with Kennedy wanted an invasion. We've got the proof of the missiles, let's just go and take them out. And if this was Kennedy's first year, he would have gone along with that. He'd say, all the generals are saying this, we got to stop the Soviets, I don't want to look weak, we're going to have an invasion. But he was now educated on this. He struck back against the generals and finally said, no, we're going to set up the blockade. And then with Bobby Kennedy, they had those letters that went back and forth. And behind the scenes, a deal was worked out. Khrushchev would pull back the missiles. And in a separate letter, several months later, we would take the Polaris missiles out of Turkey. And because we didn't need them anymore, we were now using submarine missiles, so we didn't even need it. But anyway, a deal was worked out. The world was saved from nuclear destruction. For those of us old enough to remember, and I was in college at the time at Tulane, 90 miles away, and I remember the students, we all went down there with our, like when you have a hurricane, when the water's coming, you put up Sandbags. Yep. We were putting sandbags up along the levee because New Orleans is below sea level, and we were getting ready, and the place was being evacuated. Parents were telling the schools were closed, get out, you know, there could be missiles coming here. So that was
we were
scary
all in church going to confession. There's the difference.
Yeah. They must have kept you late.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point of that is Kennedy learned from that experience, which he didn't have that first year he was You know, if the Cuban Missile Crisis had been in his first year, we would have had nuclear war. This is what we're facing with Trump. You want another example? How about, which we all remember, 2001. It's August of 2001, and President Bush, George W., the second one, he gets a memo in August of 2001, and the memo says that bin Laden is planning to strike America using planes. Didn't say Air Force planes, but just using planes. There was that information in the memo, which was, at the time, disregarded. There was also information coming from the FBI in Arizona and the FBI down in Florida, where I lived. In fact, it was the same airport, where there were these guys getting flying lessons but had no concern learning how to land a plane. They only wanted to know how to take off. And that sent a red flag to the FBI. This information, because in fairness to George W. Bush, he was brand new in the presidency, had no real world affairs experience, didn't know any of this stuff, and you know what happened a month later at 9/11. The point is, if you're going to be president of the United States, the single most important job, 50 times more important than anything else you ever do in the White House, is keep America secure in this dangerous world. That is your job. And why everyone is just so complacent about the fact that he says, I don't need the briefings in the morning, I know this stuff, when we all honestly know that he doesn't know this stuff at all. It was never an interest of his, so he doesn't know it. We're nuts. In fact, as I speak, almost half of the State Department career officials, there are about 400 underneath the cabinet head. About half of them have indicated they're leaving before he takes office. I mean, people are walking out that are in charge of our national security. This is really important. I don't know who you get to say, hey, Trump, before you go out and do another tour, a victory tour, get your butt into the office there and read and learn and be tutored. And some of the people he's got around him, good Lord, you don't even want tutoring from them. You know, the crazy national security advisor, Flynn, the guy's wacko. So that's, when you ask me, what's my greatest fear of Trump, all this other stuff, issues we feel strongly about, they pale in comparison to, whoops, something's going to happen, and this guy isn't prepared. Even if you love him, even if you're so happy he's president, you've got to admit that he doesn't know anything about this. Okay? So if you love this country, figure out some way to get his butt there to learn what is going on. We've had too many examples in our lifetime of the first year of a presidency resulting in terror or horror for our country.
Yeah. You know, it's hard to figure out. It's so well stated and so true, and it's frustrating because who knows what to do about it.
Well,
how do you get him to?
But even, you know, like in the comparisons that you made, Jerry, I mean, like George W. and all that, you can say what you want about them, but those gentlemen had been in the political sphere their entire life. They were at least somewhat familiar with how. He's got none of that, so that's even a little more scary.
And the people he's putting around him are business people.
Right.
They could be great in business, but
Sure.
what do they know about this stuff?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
time will tell, and it's scary because you can say time will tell, but you don't want time to tell that there was some big thing that happens because of this, his amateurish attitude about it. Because I agree with you. If he said, hey, I get it, I now feel the power of this office I'm about to take. I feel this ominous sense of obligation. I'm going to get busy. And if all the stories were about Donald Trump is somewhere studying, learning, talking, we feel better. But he still has this rather blasé attitude about it. I don't know. Hey, we have Tim Easton with us. Let's hear it for Tim. Yeah. Woo, woo.
How's it going, everybody?
And let me tell you some things about Tim. Is from Nashville, and obviously that's one of the hotbeds, maybe one of the biggest hotbeds of roots music, and there are some other places. We like to think that this tri-state area, its proximity to the Appalachian Mountains is probably
It's true.
great, part of it. And the whole history of mountain music and bluegrass, etc. And Tim is a singer-songwriter. Muddy Roots is well, that's not your record label, but you're going to perform on Labor Day.
Yeah, Labor Day
At the Muddy Roots
Festival. Yep.
Muddy Roots Festival.
1 week after the Whispering Beard Festival up here in this part of the country, I'll be down in Tennessee at the Muddy Roots Festival.
Okay, and that's a big deal because they are a big deal, and we've had other artists.
Loads of heroes and contemporary friends and great songwriters. Yeah.
Yep. So that's certainly a good entrance on your resume that you have that association. Hey, do a song for us, then we want to talk.
Yeah, I'd love to. When a man steals from you, tell me what do you do? Yeah, when a man steals from you, honey, tell me what do you do? You don't sit around complaining that there's nothing you can do. Well, I know he's lying, 'cause his lips are still moving. Well, I know he's lying, 'cause his lips are still moving. Well, I know, 'cause I used to be just like him. I had a dream that the president did come clean. I had a dream, people, I had a dream that the president, El Presidente, did come clean. I had a better dream. I had a better dream that Scarlett was kissing me. When a one man can't vote, 'cause he can't get his foot in the front door. When a one man can't vote, 'cause they won't let him in the door. I won't carry on working for you liars and cheaters, playboys and playgirls, yeah, misleaders anymore. Flowers on the kitchen table, the TV's in the trash. Flowers on the kitchen table, the newspaper's in the trash. Sweetheart, sweetheart, please, oh please take my hand. Take my hand. I was going to play a different song. I'd written down that I was going to play a different song, but you guys scared me so much that I just came up and did that one.
Well,
instead.
there you go. It was a good one.
It's great.
Tim, you're originally from Akron, Ohio, right?
Yeah, I grew up there. I was born on the. My mom's Canadian, so I was born on that the border. I'm a border baby from up New York State way. But I grew up in Akron, Ohio. My dad worked for Goodyear,
and we lived there, and I lived in Japan for a while as a kid. So I've lived all over the world, and I do consider myself kind of a citizen of the planet, and I've done a lot of traveling. I was a street musician over in Europe for about 7 years too. So
And you just did a 45-day tour in Europe.
I did. I'm good and jet lagged and crazed from 45 days I was over there during the election, and I voted before I split. But then, I just got over there and was in Austria for the election. Whoa. And I kept making this joke, I'll be, if T-Dog wins the election, the Austrians will just shrug their shoulders and be like, oh, that's what happens, Yeah. And it's exactly what they did. That's exactly the way, that's the way they reacted. It was so depressing. Right. It was just dark. And then I went to Spain and got drunk for 12 days. It was great.
Spain's good.
It was. They also been through some stuff.
Yeah.
And the writers and the promoters and the great people over there, they like to take care of you and bring you to good food and stuff like that. But they also brought me to a cemetery in a small town called Poredes on Mallorca on the island. They brought me to a spot where fascists had lined up several people, poets and artists, and shot them and put them in a mass grave, and they brought me there. The exhuming was happening. There was students. There was archaeology students, and that was happening. And these guys knew that I was of the sort that might be fascinated or needed to be shown this and to tell people about it. And that was just something that was happening in a small town in Spain and in Catalonia, anyways. And so that was just one of the things that happened to me over that journey was something else.
Yeah.
Huh. That's really cool.
Do a second song, would you?
Yeah. This one from the new album. This is a song. I kind of was writing tunes about the apathy of youth and stuff.
And by the way, people can get your music at Tim Easton, Tim and then EASTON.com, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. This song is called Killing Time. And at first I was just trying to make a joke about the pun of when you're killing time or wasting time, and then when it's killing time. And so I was making a little dark comparison to those two phrases. Come all ye armchair nonconformists, listening to my song. Let's take it full time for the sake of sounding the alarm. They say that youth is wasted on the young and that you can't teach an old dog something new. But I say rock and roll can still change the world, so don't let your life be wasted on you. Don't hang there like a broken door. Find out what you're living for. There has to be something more than just killing time. I don't go much for preachy bitches, act like they ain't going to hell. But it's so true that as you get older, your hindsight rings clear as a bell. I understand how much cooler it can be to act like you don't give a damn. While you were sleeping on your generation's watch, your sworn enemies were shaking hands. They'll hang you like a broken doll and sell you what you think you're living for. Happy that you'll never know until it's killing time. Happy to never know. Remind me what we're fighting for. Just to get up and go to work.
Eat your American pie with your American folk. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. Na 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 na. We all get broken down by the ways of the world and the flames of our disappearing youth. But you can't react when you're paralyzed, so don't let the fly be wasted on you. Start burning down the broken doors. Find out exactly what you're living for. There has to be something more. There has to be something more. There has to be something more than just killing time. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Now, 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 now.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Good song. Good song. Thank you very much, Tim. Hey, would you take us out on Good Night, Irene?
I'd be
And
glad to.
I don't know if Melania Trump's going to join in, but I know Jerry will for sure.
We could get Melania in.
Hey, I think she nailed it.
At least she didn't have the words in front of her.
Right?
Last Saturday night, I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife, we're partying. I think I'll head out on the town. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Sometimes I live in the country, and sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take a great notion
This is better than
to
Melania.
jump in the river and drown. Come on. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. You all come back now, you hear?